WCLU news coverage of the 2022 primary election is brought to you in part by HVAC Services in Glasgow.
Started out just trying to get a job out of high school, trying to get my foot in the door, trying to get a career started.
We try to be a successful business for our employees and a long-term employment for our employees.
And with this type of trade, and especially with HVAC services, the opportunities are endless.
I don't think there's a better company anywhere in Kentucky.
All right, welcome to today's program, Jackie. We're glad to have you a part of our 2022 election coverage here at WCLU. How are you today?
I'm just fine, thank you for asking.
Sure. So you're running for District 5 Magistrate here in Barren County on the Republican ticket, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, so this is your first time getting into the political scene here in Barren County?
It is.
All right, so tell me a little bit about what sort of inspired you to run this go-around.
Well, several years ago, I was part of the leadership class for Glasgow Barren County Chamber of Commerce, and that got me more involved in some of the local business, some of the local, things going on, and just kind of prompted my interest a little bit more. And so, in between that, then and now, I've just looked for opportunities to be a little bit more active, be a little bit more involved. And a friend of mine is the current magistrate in District 5, Mark Bowman. Right. And I spoke with Mark, and I said, Mark, are you going to run again? And he said, no, I don't think so. And he said, you know what, you should run. And so that kind of prompted me to do that, and so I thought I'd throw my name in the hat. And I think after reading and looking and being a part of it, I think it's a really good fit.
Sure. Well, the last couple of years have been, a whirlwind in every aspect of life, but particularly with government. It's been a really big indicator of how many people are actually dependent on a lot of the things coming down from even their local governments.
Correct.
With the fiscal court specifically, and District 5 specifically, before we get any further, clarify to folks, District 5, you're representing the part of the county that is sort of in that northwestern part of the county. Is that correct?
That is correct. The dividing line, kind of the main thing is Dripping Springs Road. One side of it is District 5 and the other side is a different district. So that's kind of the guiding line around that area.
Sure. When we talk about District 5 specifically, like you said, Mr. Mark Bowman has been representing that district for a little while now. Kind of coming into the political scene, what are some things that interest you about getting involved specifically for District 5?
Well, some of the things, and it's not just specifically for District 5, but some of the things that are specific for that is, I think District 5 has kind of been a little bit overlooked because it's such a on the far edge of the district. It's in the corner there, and I think that sometimes the roads in that area aren't really paid attention to as much as they should be. I think some of the other things that go on in the district it just needs a little bit more attention and more focus on. I think Mr. Bowman, Mark, did a great job as a magistrate there. However, I just think there could be more focus on some of those outlying things.
Sure. When we talk about getting involved in the fiscal court, a lot of the time, as the namesake is, we're dealing with money, and primarily money is the issue for the fiscal court.
Sure.
But we've seen the way that the fiscal court has sort of, during the pandemic specifically, had to really react to that pandemic, not only to maybe figure out how do we give money to people that have worked during it, but more so, how do we just serve those people?
Sure.
So that's another element of being involved in local government is the involvement, thinking about, industry recruitment, job retainment. What are some of your thoughts on some of those big topics that people, care about?
Well, that's a really good point, and that's kind of one of the really big focuses of mine. I'm currently the chairman of the board for South Central Kentucky Community and Technical Colleges. So I'm very involved in that aspect of the community as far as higher education, the college itself, and I've seen some of the things that they're focused on as far as with industry and with training and things like that. And I think that's a really good fit for us because Barren County needs some jobs. We're all aware of that. That's no secret. Nobody's hiding that under the rug or anything. So we do need some jobs, but not just entry level jobs. We need some quality jobs. We need to get our people working again. We have people unemployed, and I think that for a while there, we have really not concentrated on bringing in more industry. And I think that part of what we're looking at is industry alone is, they're looking for utilities, they're looking for taxes, tax breaks, they're looking for locations, things like that. But I think some of the things that we're overlooking is, if you have an industry that's moving in, they're going to be looking for a workforce that's able to locate in Glasgow and Barren County. And I think that's one of the areas that we're kind of short on is quality housing for those people. And I think that's one of the things that, I think the court, it needs to look at that. I think there's some other things they need to look at as well, but that's one of the areas that I think should be looked at.
Yeah, and you talk about we talk about industry recruitment and jobs. A big sector in Barren County is the agriculture sector.
Absolutely.
Which is important from the fiscal court standpoint. What thinking about moving into a role as a magistrate, how does Barren County's agriculture sector fit into your job as a magistrate?
Well, and that's really interesting because I did do like a lot of people back in the back in the 70s and the 80s. I was a young fella, worked going in high school and worked on the farms and had been involved in farming or in the agricultural area, not directly but indirectly for since I was a young fella. But I think that you step back and look at Barren County's agricultural side, and it's very important. It's extremely important, and I think that what we have to do as a community is we have to support that. We have to make sure that some of these small farmers that are out there that are struggling, we need to make sure that we're supporting them in any way we can. I think we do a really good job of the Kentucky Pride. I think we really do a good job of the all the things that we do for those farmers, but I think we need to step it up a little bit and make sure that we're providing them some of the things that they need to maintain that. The large farms are more capable of handling those kinds of things. And this disruption that we had, and I call it a disruption for just because I don't know what other thing to call it, but the COVID-19 has caused us to reevaluate how we handle things. And I think some of the small farmers are really struggling because of that, because of all the things that have gone on and the lockdowns and things that have happened. We need to reach out to them now and say, okay, you struggled, you suffered a little bit because of that. What can we do now to get you back up to the levels that you were at before COVID came in and knocked us off for a punch?
Sure. I know something with politics, a lot of the time, politics is a scary word because it seems to indicate, things that people don't generally like to hear about. It's those, under the table sorts of things. But just talking about you as a person in a nutshell, if you had 30 seconds to just say, hey, this is who I am and this is why I'm a good fit, what would you say?
Real quick, number one, I'm an elder at South Green Street Church of Christ. Therefore, that doesn't necessarily mean I am, morally above anybody or whatever, but I do feel like that I have a good Christian background. I do feel like that anybody that knows me and has spoken with me, all of my friends, I hope, would say that I am a very moral person, that I'm a very honest person. I think that we just have to look at it from, and I'll just give you a heads up as well. My job, my full-time job I work at Fruit of the Loom Bowling Green because, again, there's no jobs in Glasgow per se, but my job is ethics and compliance. And so therefore that's something I do every day, is I deal with ethics and compliance issues and things like that. So I feel like that, again, that really primarily lends itself to this position, that I would be capable of, standing up and doing what's right. And I don't think that because I have no aspirations to be mayor or judge executive or anything else like that, I'm not looking for, what's down the road. I'm looking for now. And right now, I think we need to do what's right for the county and not worry about, am I going to be reelected next time?
All right. Well, anything you'd like to add that I didn't ask today?
Well, I just think that I just appreciate the time, number one. I think this is really good. I think the voters of Barren County, they're the ones that are active do a great job, but I think that I want to encourage everybody to get out and vote, even if if it's not for me, just get out and exercise your right to vote. I think that's one of the things that, being a former military guy, I retired from the National Guard after 20 years. I think that a lot of people just neglect to do it. They'll see a sign, they'll say, "Yeah, I really like that guy," or, he's a good fella. I hope they don't vote because he's a good fella. I hope they vote because he or she is the right person for that position. I think that's a lot of times where we look at it in this county is, I hate the expression "good old boy." And I don't want to emphasize that, but I think that that's some of the things that we need to look at is, who is right for the job? And I think that if you look at experience, if you look at, current things going on in the world and in Barren County specifically, that I do have the qualifications for that. And I hope everybody considers that when they go to the polls.
Sure. Well, we appreciate you coming in today. Thank you, and best of luck, Mr. Jackie Perkins.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
All right, thank you.